Greetings, friends and future friends. Today I want to do a short video on the Korg Pa5x and show you how player 1 works with player 2 and how the Korg Pa5x truly is two different style players at one time. And I found this out working on a project. If you go into Kind Scheiss and see Breakout, you'll see how I use this. Now, first of all, I loaded up Electro House. It's one of the stock styles in dance, and I loaded up Electro House and player 2. So you can see it's in blue, it's in player 2, and it's in the orange, it's in player 1. Now, what's really cool about that is that you can change that style, and that change will remain in there. And you can go back and forth. So if we look at player 1, we can look up here, and that's variation 4. And variation 4 is lit up here. But if we go to player 2, now it's variation 2, and variation 2 is lit up. And you'll also note, if you notice this light, it's right like a blue color right now. And if you go over here, variation 4, it's an orange light. But you can even get into, now we're in the mixer. So we're in the mixer. Now look what I did here. What I wanted to do with the player 2 is I just wanted to solo the drums and the bass. So I hit solo. But if I go to player 1, you'll notice that nothing's soloed. Everything is the same. Everything is the same as the original thing. And you can also even look into the EQ. Now, being player 2 is going to play that style with just drums and bass. I added a little treble to the drums. So if you see here, player 1, it's showing 0. But if I go over here to player 2, you can see 7+ dB on the high end of the drums on player 2. And how does that work? Well, let's exit out of this, go to the main. Now we push shift, hold the shift down, and now you can press the play button of player 2 or player 1. So now we're playing player 2. And if we go to the mixer, we see we have just the bass and the drums playing. And we're at variation 2. I could feed this in slow, or I can go fast. Now I'm playing Electro House, variation 4, and I have the solo button on the house kit and the Euro bass turned off. This is really cool. And of course you hit shift and that play button and it'll turn everything off. There are numerous ways I can see to use this, and I'll probably use it in the future. You could probably, now what I could probably do is go and shift variation 1 to a different variation. So let's try that. We'll go start everything back up. It looks like it won't allow you to do that. So you can only change the variation, which style. So if I wanted to change that variation back to 4, I'd have to come over here, slide the fader to player 1, and then select version 4. And now it's going to play it. So I can go back to select player 2 with variation 2. and it'll still sound the same. So that's a cool way to use player 1 and player 2. It's something I didn't realize. I thought everything would be the same with both players. But you can change everything. And now I just changed the EQ. You know, if I went into the EQ like I showed you, at player 2 I have it at +7. And player 1 I have that EQ for that drum track at 0. So, and I would imagine everything else in here you could change to player 1 and player 2. Make sure when you go into your main settings, when you go into menus, you go into audio video. The important thing of this setup here is to make sure that your outs are going in the same way in each player. Now for me, my bass is going out 3 and 4, my drums are going out 1 and 2. And what you have to do is you have player 1, we click on player 2, they have to be the same. In my studio, I'm processing the drums and the bass in a different way, and I want to maintain that processing, so I have to make sure that player 1 and player 2 are the same. Now the cool thing about this is you could change that. So if you wanted to do something in your studio differently, I could actually take this bass and put it out 1 and 2 on player 2. Now if I go to player 1 has the bass going out 3 and 4. Player 2 has the out going to out of 1 and 2. Let's get that back on 3 and 4 so I don't mess up. So this is an important thing that you have to take in consideration when using player 1 and player 2, is that what are you going to do with that signal? And if you're like me, you got to make sure they're the same. So there you have it, how you can use player 1 and player 2 to your advantage. Take care, my friends.